Babylonian sex magic,
Yeah.
right? Ties back to Ninursin. He had three primary forms of control: Babylonian money magic, Babylonian blood magic, and Babylonian sex magic. Collectively, they are known as the rites of Ninursin or the rites of sin.
And that movie Sinners, did you watch it yet? Oh, Rod, you just, ooh wee! I watched it with the zombies, and let me tell you, it is the conjuring of. I don't want to give it to you because I'll wait until I want you to, if you get a chance to see it. It's
I'm
just,
watching. If you ain't the first person to tell me to watch it.
it's just, it takes a whole new level of. I want you to watch it first because I want to discuss it with you when you watch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It brings up a lot of concepts of, hoodoo magic, magic, and the serpentine type of energies. It's kind of like, I don't know if you saw the movie with Halle Berry where she had the two sons. They were living out in the woods up in Alabama, and she's raising them with this whole concept of like, you got to be tied to your house. And that's the whole the akashics like tied to the house, and that house was going to keep you safe so long as you tied. It's kind of like the movie Sinners speaks to the safety of you being in a commune, but you invite certain entities. In order for you to be accepted, it would have to be an invitation.
Yeah, it's another thing when they was doing the blood test,
Mm-hmm.
right? They was trying to determine if the people being tested had access to a drop of melanated blood.
Mm,
America got something called a one drop of blood doctrine.
that's right.
Any other country got that doctrine?
No, because when my father came to the country, when my uncles came to the country, they were all designated like a lot of foreigners, which I think you already know this, to kind of fudge the census. They're all coming in. If they're Cuban, certain islands, they come in as whites, right? And they can be brown, they can be light skin brown, they can be all variations, they can be Indian and dark brown, and they can still be classified as white. The only way that they constitute that one drop of blood is in the United States. They do that in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is?
Brazilianization is what it's called.
Yes.
The people that came, this whole 6,000 year rule of the devil, as they call it. The devil mean enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody tell you it means something other than enemy or adversary or opponent is just adding some flavor to it that was given to him by the dogmatic church.
Yeah.
Okay, so they came over here um, because the genetics of the people from the European caves was broke down from laboratory intervention.
Well, it's a much like we talk about the Cabbage Patch, the incubator babies, the geoengineered people that were placed in all the Tartarian, sites to restart society after the reset and the pole shift, supposedly, right?
Right. Well, the reset is because of nuclear holocaust and the
Mm.
artificial nuclear winter that gave us our last ice age
Mm.
prematurely. But we going into what's called the sun cycle on the heels of that ice age that covered most of the age of Pisces.
Yeah.
Right. When the sun cycle come in, the UV rays and the solar flares increase, and they telling us it's global warming. And they need to reduce the carbon footprint. What they not telling us is the carbon footprint is everywhere one of us step. Because we the carbon-based beings,
That's right.
and now we in the process of converting back to what's called crystalline beings.
Yeah.
The crystals go all the way to your DNA. The DNA is composed of 21 complex amino acids
Mm-hmm.
in crystalline form, and they are all powered from the powerhouse of the cell called the mitochondria.
Yes.
So when the light of life comes into the body, it has to go through the mitochondria and then it's refracted through the crystalline DNA,
Mhm.
right? And this is how spirit operate in the body. And the more aware you are, the more open your DNA come, the more data that you naturally download.
Absolutely. But don't you think sun is a component? And with the last fake eclipses, where they covered up what was perceived to be I don't believe the sun is real. It's just, we have variations of suns at different times. But the last eclipse, I think, which was March or April of 2024, when they said we were having an eclipse, but actually the planets weren't aligned in the way that they said on the chart, but they were saying an eclipse was going to happen. They covered up the sun, and this is my opinion. I think we're living in like 28 days of darkness because all the sunflowers and solar panels were no longer picking up any more sun signature anymore. Almost like we're living in the dark. We had a sea star who had a potato on her table. And potatoes need darkness and to kind of generate roots, and it was sitting on our counter in so-called daylight, and it started to root, which made me think that whatever is they're showing as illumination as sun, it may not be the sun. We might be living in the dark. That's why maybe certain behavior is becoming more systemic because we're not living under a sun anymore. But what's your concept of that or your
Well,
opinion?
you gotta remember the light spectrum consists of colors, just like the rainbow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We see less than 1% of the light spectrum. The animals and the plants can perceive more wavelengths of the light spectrum than we can perceive with the naked eye. You had a lot of sunflowers that was turning their back to the sun.
That's right.
Okay, now here's something to consider for all of those space travelers. Nibiru carries with it lesser bodies.
Yes, celestial bodies rounded. Yes.
Right. Now, if one of them bodies big enough, based on the 93 million mile distance of the
Interesting.
sun, it will block the path, but all of the rest of the regular planets will still be in alignment.
Yes.
So you having an eclipse from a different planetary body than the moon or the earth blocking giving you a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. You have a different body,
Yeah.
something else from outside of the
Is
system.
influencing it. Yes.
Yeah, is the where the eclipse is coming from, right? So, um, the eclipse itself is also symbolic of the cutting off of old energy in order to allow new energy to come in.
Yes.
A retrograde is a return to the energy from a prior time in the cycle,
Yes.
right? It's the return. So if you have an eclipse and a retrograde, you move into a new cycle and you're cutting off the old energy in order to bring in the new energy. And the only way you're going to know it's happening is something that happened in the past is going to rear its ugly head just long enough for you to see in the mirror, same but different. Right. So I've seen orbs, big black orbs in the night sky next to the moon, but no, other people couldn't see it.
Yes.
Right. NASA had posted a video years ago of a giant orb bigger than our sun siphoning energy from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's this the problem with our matrix, the Earth matrix,
Yeah.
is called Luna. The moon is the most fake shit. It's a spaceship,
Thank you. Yes.
right?
The
And
satellite.
yeah, so the reason they put it there was to block the Saturn moon of Lilith. This take you back to beheading of Medusa, because they was usurping the god. When you usurp a god, in the pantheon of gods, you say you took their head. She didn't really get beheaded.
Mhm.
In the ISIS from 2,000 years ago, we know her as Cleopatra,
Yes. Yes.
right? But we don't recognize her as the pharaoh. She was the last pharaoh. Now the pharaonic reign has to return, but it ain't gonna return in Hollywood, Kemet, Egypt. It's gonna return to the original place where the original temples were set up, that all of those other temples were replicas of. Like for us,
Yeah.
what we call Egypt today, in what we call in Egypt today with the Giza Plateau and all that, that was Hollywood. That
Yeah.
was a big ass movie set
Yes.
and a military outpost to watch over them niggas in Sumer,
Yeah.
right? And most of the tribes from Africa came from over here, but we think that we came from over there.
Absolutely.
They turned it upside down and backwards on us.
Yeah. That's why when you go to certain places in Africa, even though it's a huge continent, some people, like you go to certain places and it looks like a refugee camp. And you're saying to yourself, well, if these people lived here for that long, wouldn't it be developed? Wouldn't it be like, there's certain areas in Africa that are absolutely magnificent and beautiful, but a lot of the places look like people were just dropped there and they haven't acclimated to the new terrain, almost like they weren't originally from there, whether they came from a spaceship, the inner earth, wherever it is. It almost looks like, even like, it just doesn't look like a place that's been sustained for a long period of time that's developed.
Well, you got to remember, they've been in a perpetual state of war since the Berlin Conference,
Very sad. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Before that, the north of the Sahara, the northern Sahara region, was at war since about 4,000 BC with the same people, same dirty Moors.
Mhm.
They changed their name,
Always.
right? Elijah Muhammad described them better than anybody else. He said they come in, pretend to be your friend, find two peaceful people getting along, and then they put a division between them,
Mhm.
and then they offer them a solution. And I add this for a fee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna solve all your problems. It's gonna take you a couple of dollars. Your oil reserve, your diamond reserve, your gold reserve, your platinum reserve, your lithium reserves. Look, every continent can sustain itself if you use what it has in true um, face-to-face business with the rest of the world. The least productive of all peoples on the land from their own land is Europe. Europe, it got some resources, but out of all of the places on the planet, it got the least amount of natural resources.
Absolutely.
Right. So what do? They go get their resources, their natural resources from other people's territory.
Mhm.
Well, that don't fly unless you colonize them. And colonialism can only last until the colonized get tired of the colonizer colonizing them, stepping on their neck, oppressing them, holding them down, telling them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, where you don't own none of the wealth from coming out of your land. They getting rich off everything you do.
Well, they always send missionaries first. That's how they start the colonization with Jesus.
That's called the soft sale.
With Jesus, sending Jesus and,
Well, or Muhammad, it don't matter, or Abraham, it don't matter.
Abraham. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
You can pick either one of them. They gonna send one of them first.
Yeah. And make it seem like, that is something that will make their lives better, enlighten them, bring them peace and everlasting, life, whatever.
Yeah. So this is why the United Nations wrote the uh, United Nations Indigenous Rights Act, right? Because they have to tell you what your rights is, but they don't have to enforce them.
Yeah.
You know, that's why there's no law enforcement power behind it, but they can't stop you from exercising your rights.
Well, you need the United Nations, even what's going on in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine, and even what's going on in Congo. UN is doing nothing, has no power, political power, or any enforcement way to enforce any of the laws to protect, cause peace, or to police anyone. They're just basically there for show.
Hmm. So the Middle East, the Israel of the Middle East,
Yeah.
that's us all to keep people out of Ukraine.
Oh, that's right. Well, Ukraine. Well, can we go into that too? Because I know the occultism that's going on over there, and a lot of the Israelis, which they don't talk about, the original home of the Ashkenazis was Ukraine, and they wanted to return home. So this is my opinion. I think maybe the war incentivized a lot of others to leave to clear way for those others to return.
So what they was doing is trying to keep the Khazarians, because you got to remember, Ukraine used to be called Khazaria.
Yeah.
The Khazars is your Ashkenazis,
Yes.
converts to Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
Your Spanish paleface converts is called Sephardi,
Yeah.
right? So when did they convert? They converted during the Inquisition
Mm-hmm.
because the conflict was primarily between the domination of Christian doctrine versus the domination of Islamic doctrine. Most Muslims don't have a freaking clue that the Islamic doctrine comes from the same place the Christian doctrine as the Catholic Church.
Mm.
I was talking about this a couple days ago on live, and a Muslim guy chimed in and was like, "The Pope don't got nothing to do with Islam." Little do he know, the Pope is the highest ranking imam, the highest ranking Kohen, and the highest ranking Christian priest. Right? So he the highest ranking priest in all three religions. There's a mosque in Vatican City, a big one, next to a church that's next to a synagogue.
Mm.
Right? Most of us don't know about the history of the Catholic Church in the Middle East, right? Including the people that live there. I always have to say every time I say Middle East is where's the Middle North, where's the Middle South, and where's the Middle West?
Well, Middle East
Because
is not. Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
a
'cause I keep getting confused when they say Middle East because it's the
because it's
East, the
Africa.
middle of what?
Yeah, yeah, and it's Africa because they just redesignated what in 1950 something,
1948.
1948. Yeah.
1948, they named Israel Israel.
Mhm.
Nope,
Mhm.
they started calling it the Middle East when they discovered oil. I think that
Okay.
was the 20s
Oh,
or
okay,
30s.
that might have been it. Yeah.
They had to disassociate it from the motherland totally.
From melanation. From
Right.
melanation.
Yeah.
Because you can't have a whole bunch of Europeanized people over there and say it's Africa. They'd be like, where are those people? Those it's Africa. You're supposed to have melanation. Ancient Kemet. Where'd all these non-melanated people? So you got to reconstitute a name that would be further apart, further separating it from the concept of Africa, which is connected to high amount of melanin.
Yeah. But Africa ain't been Africa. It was named Africa in the Berlin Conference.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Then it was then back then before it was
Another
called
gentrified
Africa.
name. Another gentrified name
Yeah.
by the Cabbage Patch, no
Yeah.
doubt.
But before they called it Africa on all of the maps, it had one big word written on the continent.
Oh,
Sudan.
yes, Sudan. And Sudan has some of the most pyramids that no one talks about. South Sudan has all those pyramids and a big cross in a Christian church buried underneath the mound that no one's talking about that they just unearthed.
Well, they divided up Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt and made them different lands.
Yeah, and Eritrea eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. So why did they do that? Because one, the real Christians are Coptics.
Oh.
the equivalent, a Coptic pope is called Al Kupt.
Yes.
And the only way he can be Al Kupt, he have to be more familiar with the Ethiopian Orthodox Bible than anybody else on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And the irony of it is the default Al Kupt was Malachi York,
Yes. Yes.
right? And then um, they don't tell you that the Ark of the Covenant was in Ethiopia,
That's right.
right? And then they had something called Operation Exodus. It was also called something else. I think it was called Operation Jericho in the early 80s, where they was flying Falashas, Hadendawas, out of Ethiopia, Sudan, Somalia region into Egypt because they said they was the rightful heirs to the land called Israel.
Interesting.
This was a Mossad operation. You can read about it in by way of deception, written by a Mossad agent,
Mm.
right? Because he wrote the story in there because he was active with it. Matter of fact, one of the first major so-called terrorist attacks was at the Olympics when the Israelis had a shootout with Arabs on the airplane.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
That was part of Mossad operations
Mm-hmm.
and the resistance that they created from the people who was already in the Arab territories for thousands of years before they decided in 1948 that this was Israel.
Israel Al. Israel Al. Because the Israelites are of the 13 tribes of Sheba are actually those who are living in the Americas, from what I
It's
know.
the real original 13 bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
These are called the Grail lines.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 12 daughters of Isis and their mama,
That's right.
right? But we believe in that it's the tribes of Jacob. Jacob being undermined,
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
right? And the 13th tribe of Jacob is the tribe of, I think his daughter name was Diana, but they
Okay.
don't talk about her. She's been ostracized.
Left out.
Remember, Jacob's sons slaughtered the whole village because one of them raped their sister,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And they told them that all y'all got to get circumcised now. Cut your foreskins off. And while they was all dick hurt, they came in and slaughtered them.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Right. That's how they rock. They
Yeah.
probably never raped a girl.
Mm.
She probably consented.
Mm.
But it's the Me Too movement back then.
What about the whole concept of everything with J, like a J-E? Because in French, when we say je or je is I am, like J-A-I, or je is I. It's interesting that Jesus, Jerusalem, Jewish, all have that J-E. It's interesting. I just find it interesting because in French, it's like saying I, like I am,
Okay.
but it's
What's the
interesting.
origin of the letter J?
Um,
Latin
what's
didn't have a letter J.
it didn't? What
Greek didn't have a letter J.
It didn't exist. That's right.
It existed in Semitic cultures, but it didn't exist in European cultures. Was no J. It was an I. In Greek, the I was called iota.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's why I say in French, if you speak different languages, you get to see from all different angles. So I always thought it was interesting that everything that was denoted with the JE was something that wasn't real necessarily because it was
But
always an I. Yeah.
when you write it IE, right, using rules of grammar,
Yeah. I
the
before
I
you.
goes hard and the E goes silent,
Yes. Yes.
right? So if
Yes.
you apply that to the name Jesus, IESOUS,
ISIS. It's ISIS. Yeah.
yeah, because
Mhm.
the O goes silent because it's following two vowels before a consonant, which makes the U go hard.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
That they don't want you to tell it, so they changed it to the Hebrew. But the New Testament wasn't originally written in Hebrew; it was
No.
originally written in Greek.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the Greek word that they use in the translate as Jesus is literally, not figuratively, Isis,
Woo!
right? But because we want to believe and we want to give people the benefit of the doubt when there ain't no benefit in doubt.
Yeah.
You know, if you got doubt, that means you're not sure. That means don't make that move.
Yeah. Even with the concept of like the Last Supper, the picture of the Last Supper, and you see 12 apostles, but you see Mary Magdalene there, wouldn't she be perceived as Isis? So the 13, which is represented by the feminine, is represented by the true, what Jesus, who it really was, which was Isis, sitting in that image. Would you?
Right. Because the one they calling Jesus was Emmanuel, her son, that in Egypt is called Herod.
Yes, yes.
Right. Now when he grow up, she got to marry him off. And if you don't know Jewish marital rights, you won't never know what's taking place in John at the wedding in Cana. This is the mama getting the son married.
Mm,
Mary in European languages mean rebellious woman,
yes.
but it comes from Mary, which was the land of Mary, who was Isis.
Oh,
And then they give us the famous prayer. Hail Mary,
full of grace, the
Mother
Lord
of
is.
God.
Yeah. How are they? Yeah.
If she the mother of God, what the do that make her?
ISIS, ice, baby. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because when we lose our history like we lost to colonization,
Mhm.
they didn't just colonize the land, they colonized the information as well.
And the
They're
mind.
not gonna never tell you the information that's gonna liberate you. They only gonna tell you the information that they could use to keep you under their oppression.
But isn't colonization a form of parasitic infestation? Because parasites do the same. They quietly infiltrate the body without the host truly knowing. And as they birth more of their eggs and start to take over in numbers secretively, they then eventually take over the mind and control the host completely. Right?
That's the intent,
Yeah.
right? They telling us that we shouldn't be angry because they gave us Christianity, but they
Oh.
took all our shit.
They rob your
Look,
house
you
and
take
they
the
don't
church,
expect you to be mad, right?
yeah, you take the church back and you give me back my shit, and let's
No.
see who in a better
Out of
position.
all the museums in Europe, you'll give back everybody's relics,
Give
which they,
everybody back their shit that y'all
yeah,
took in the name of the cross.
including everything on King Charles when he went and got, his scepter from his scepter, his crown, the diamonds, the jewels, everything. Return it all.
Everything. But look, here goes something that we really don't pay much attention to at all, right? In this church phenomenon of
Mm-hmm.
colonization, and they giving us their religion, but they taking our stuff, right? And they controlling the narrative with their religious dogmas from all three monotheistic religions. And as long as we are unaware, they stay in power. But once we become aware, they can't control us no more,
True.
right?
But that's
So,
where they built wars to distract us and to take us out of the mindset of consciousness again.
right, because once you understand who you are and you understand where your people at, and who your people are, you a problem. You a whole problem, not a piece of a problem. You the whole problem
Mhm.
because now they have to answer for that. When the rightful heirs manifest and assert their tribal right under the matriarchy, you grandfather clause the matriarchy back in. The grandfather clause allows you to use an act of law that's never been overturned. The matriarchy is the grandmother clause. The
Mm.
grandmother clause say that the heritable birthright to land management goes to the women. Period. That's it.
Mhm.
Right. So
Well, in
now,
Jewish, yeah, and Jewish
yeah,
law it always goes to the matriarchy. Still, the Jewish, the birth of a Jew is truly through the woman. That's how what denotes that lineage.
yeah, you can't usurp somebody without using their shit. You can't,
Yeah,
because now it goes against their primal nature. Once they understood our nature, everything that we did naturally, they called it pagan, and they either monetized it or villainized it.
absolutely. Or
They
blew it
told
up.
us,
Or blew it
they
up.
told
Just
us,
blew it up.
look, they told us voodoo was evil.
Meanwhile, they were doing all the rituals and learning it and usurping all of the practices so that they could do it on everyone else. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now in voodoo ain't no voodoo practitioner scared of no damn devil,
No,
right? Whoever the devil of the day was stood face to face with Duddy Bookman and lost. Shout out to Haiti again. I love them people.
Haiti. Sapase.
But in voodoo culture, we know that when a Legba come, a Ogun gonna follow.
That's right.
A Ogun gonna follow every time. And when that Ogun come, that old goon, he not playing.
No, he's coming with the
He
wrath.
not nice.
Yeah, he's following with the wrath. Yeah.
Yeah. The hard part is when the parameters of the remedy to the war require you to just be more intelligent than than the oppressor. You'll be able to see what the oppressor is using so you can publicly expose it to as many of the tribes as possible so they can all
Absolutely.
break free.
That's right.
Right? That ain't what Ogun want to do. Ogun don't want to go in the library. He want to go to the battlefield.
Yeah, he want to cut off heads.
Yeah,
Yes.
So and when you look at the strategies of military, before Ogun go to battle, he gonna do his investigation. Who am I fighting? Where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
How long they been here? How they get here? Who told them where we was at? What do they want? Right? So when he gets satisfied with each one of the answers, then he started trying to formulate a particular way of reaching the people from the different bloodlines, the 13 ISIS bloodlines. And he
Mm-hmm.
started talking because he's rallying the troops. Little do they know, they getting a spiritual call. Some of them getting lions roars in their sleep. They can hear it in the early morning. Roar, lions roaring.
Yeah.
Right? Some
That's
of
the
them see
call.
big everywhere they go. Black cats following them. That
Mm.
Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't know what's going on, but they know this is getting their attention, and they like something going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then you got other ones. They hear gorillas beating on their chest.
That's right.
The thunder and roar of the gorilla pounding on his chest, and this ain't no regular gorilla. Where this motherfucker come from?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the spirit animal is a communication tool from nature to communicate with the natural being. Unnatural beings are not going to have any pets ever. They're going to always try to exterminate as much natural stuff as
Oh,
possible.
everything, trees, nature, they
Cut down
kill
the,
animals with
cut,
no sort of emotion.
yep, cut down the trees, open the slaughterhouse, poison and pollute the waters, poison and pollute the air. They breathe in the same air and they in the same water and they polluting it because they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about nobody but themselves. They'll sell their mama, they'll sell their children. So what you think they're going to do to you?
Yeah.
That's who we've been fighting.
What do you think about the when we talk about the dirty Moors, like or the Jesuits? When we talk about
Jesuits
the
get a bad rap.
because they're considered to be like the hub, and then no,
You know what the Jesuits' job was?
what was it?
To make sure ISIS can be put back on their throne when the time
Interesting.
comes.
Interesting.
If you notice, they said the letters that make up on their crest is IHS.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yeah,
Ain't no J on there,
it's true. That is true. Yeah.
right? So, and then they got the symbol of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the letters precede the sun because the sun is behind the letters. The letters represent what the mother stand for, and the sun represent the arrival of her son, Heru.
Yeah.
Heru is synonymous with rightful heir to the throne, right? And you can have multiple blood right heirs, but only one is going to do the required work to ascend the family tree. You will see the symbol of the family tree with all of the pantheon of Egyptian gods on it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Climbing the tree means becoming aware of where this character type, archetype fit in your family. Once you identify all of them, then they collectively charge you with the spiritual energy
Yes.
that moves you to the forefront. This is why they say, study to show thyself approved.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just mean read books. They mean go out into the population and watch how people move around on the land. You know,
When it,
why is this neighborhood only got this kind of people and that neighborhood only got that kind of people?
that's right. Don't you feel like
Right?
when they do spiritual attacks, they attack certain animals to affect the energy of certain people?
They can use the animal to direct the attack.
Mm. Okay.
Right. So it's like Harambe. They didn't have to kill him,
Yeah.
but they wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because he was in the zoo in Ohio, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Ohio is part of the Chief Pontiac territory.
That's right.
From Pontiac, Michigan to Pontiac, Illinois. Well, Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, that make up the Ottawa territory before colonization.
Mm.
And it was an Ottawa Confederacy. You had other tribes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Tecumseh, Oshkosh Bagosh. Everybody think the baby clothes is made by some pale faces. Oshkosh was a chocolate ass brother who started the clothing line.
No
The
one knew that. Yeah.
original baby clothes was always sewn in New Orleans by the Taylor clan.
Mm.
When they begin to assault New Orleans, all of the stuff that we did down there had to be outsourced to other tribes. Oshkosh just so happened to get the baby contract to make the baby clothes and he's supposed to feed his tribes off that. It's more than one tribe under his jurisdictional responsibility
Amazing.
to take care of.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So all these people they in the area, they Chief Blackhawk from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All of these different chiefs from back in the day is heritable birthright to a person born of spiritual high rank bloodline on the land. You inherit that beef.
Exactly.
I inherited Chief Pontiac beef. I ain't want his shit. I want to have my own beef. But when I look back at it now that I'm
You're
older and
qualified though,
wiser,
but you're qualified. That's why you inherit it.
yeah, that's the matriarchal rule. The position don't never go to who you think it do. It go to the most qualified
That's
person.
right.
And sometimes
Always.
the most qualified person don't look like you,
Mm-mm.
right? But that became problematic because some of the people that they was appointing as chiefs didn't look like us. But we thought, well, maybe Big Mama did appoint him. No, the president appointed that sucker so he could sign that treaty.
That's right. The only ones
We
who
didn't
are on
appoint
the
him.
yeah, the ones on from what my grandmother told me is that those on the reservation are the ones who sold out the others because those are the ones who and they were and there was a redesignation of tribal people replaced by Mongolians or others that took on this
They was brought
status.
over here as captives from Europe.
Yeah, they
They
weren't
used
they
to
weren't actually tribal based people. Yeah.
Well, they was tribal based, but they was under the control of some of the people that used to eat their babies.
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Because,
This is
even if you have a conversation with someone, you talk to them and you say, as a melanated woman who still holds a lot of the same, I look visually still like my tribe. I said, when someone looks like the enemies that incepted them, they no longer are those people because they would have fought tooth and nail to not be inseminated with the very enemy that destroyed them.
I'm gonna point a couple of things out that we haven't paid attention to
Mhm.
in enough detail. The Mongolians that was brought over here with colonizers, all of them didn't take sides with the colonizers. Remember, when they tell us that in the Gullah Wars it was runaway slaves joining, them was the Mongolians. Them wasn't them nappy head brothers that
Oh,
you
that's
think
right.
they
That's
were.
right. Yes, yes.
It was the Mongolians, and we accepted them because their cultural traditions and their belief in the matriarchy was like ours.
Mhm.
The ones who took sides with the colonizer, because it was a sizable portion of them,
Mhm.
who they sent to scalp us, not pale faces, us.
Mhm.
And they had bounties on our head. They originally was bringing our whole head, but they was collecting too many heads. They told them that's too many heads. Well, just bring the scalp back.
Mm.
The scalp was only payable if your hair looked like this.
Mhm.
They couldn't pay a scalp for a straight hair, stringy hair individual. It had to
That's
be
deep.
woolly,
Yeah, that's deep.
right? That goes back to the bison trains. Everybody think that they was only shooting at the bison. They didn't know that them big Tookie Williams looking brothers wearing bison pelts is hid in the buffalo.
Mm.
They all throughout here. You can't see them riding your train through the land. You see all them buffalo, but when it get dust dark, they said the colonizers said, we don't know what it is, but when it get dark, all of the buffalo turn into braves and they start attacking our trains, our horse and carriages. They attack us. So this is how they tell the story.
Mm.
For every buffalo you kill a native.
Mm. That's why they killed all those buffalo.
Yep,
Slaughtered them.
yep. We didn't believe in mass slaughter. We
No.
didn't have slaughterhouses. We harvested as needed.
Mhm.
And we kept our farm, our livestock farm,
Mhm.
was the Great Plains. That
Yeah.
was grazing land for the bison, the elk, the moose, and we
Mhm.
didn't care if a pack of wolves took a couple of them and harvest them. Let a wolf go to one of these sheep farms and watch how quick he'd be exterminated.
Mm.
Right? We didn't care because nature has to nature naturally in order for nature to provide for everything nature needs to provide for.
That's right. That's
Right?
right.
They counting dollars. They not counting livestock.
Mm.
We counted the livestock as a soul,
That's right.
and we honored the sacrament of consuming that which surrendered its soul to us.
That's right.
It was sacred. We used to have a deer walk up to you like, look, I don't know what these suckers doing, man, but I'm tired of this life, and y'all look like y'all need something to eat. So I'm just gonna bow down right here. You're gonna pull out your Bowie knife and slit my jugular vein, and let's get this over with.
Mm.
Right? But we lost so disconnected from who we are that the things that we used to do sound far fetched now.
Absolutely.
Right? A shaman would stand out he'd raise his hands to the sky and he'd just say, Mother Earth, Father Sky, feed my clan. And he'd stand there.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't care if it's 20 rabbits run up to him. It could be a coon run up to him. It could be a couple of buffalo, some deer. They coming to feed you
Yeah.
because you in tune with the natural workings of nature. That's why in the Bible it say, do the birds prepare what they gonna eat? Do they prepare for tomorrow what they gonna eat? Do
No.
they look for a place to rest? No, they already know how to build their nest.
Mhm.
Ain't none of this stuff new. Everything ain't nothing new under the sun. We did it 1,000 times.
That's right.
The only difference about this time is it was done under the hostilities of a foreign agency.
Which are parasitic and vampiric by nature. and
Yep.
lets us know they weren't from this plane of existence, because the way that they destroy is not beneficial to them. So that's how we
Yep.
know they're not from here. Now, just a question, because I know I don't want to keep you too long. And everyone, please definitely give Rod Hayes so much respect and honor. I love it. His information is everlasting and so. Oh my God, you're like an Akashic record. It's like a walking, like Akashic. Like you just walk in, like boom. Like what page? Like what page are we going in today? Um,
It's just tribal greed.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put your Cash App, y'all. Make sure you show some love to Rod. And then, when we kind of closing up a little bit, we'll talk about where you can reach Rod, where you can watch some of his amazing shares and videos. Because I'm not the only channel he talks to. There's so many other channels and shares so much information that is so transformative, especially it's things you teach me things every time you come on. So I'm appreciative. Question. I had a colleague, an old colleague, who spoke about World War One, and there was a video that kind of followed up on this. I want to ask your opinion on this. World War One, for what was said and what I heard, which I think I may have heard remnants of it, is that World War One, all of Europe came to fight the indigenous and take pieces of the Americas, and that's when the original fall of the indigenous nations actually really truly became more tangible. What say you as far as that's concerned?
So now you're talking about the discovery doctrine of the Catholic Church and the incursion into the Americas by the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the
Yes,
English.
yes, yeah.
The 1492 invasion is what I call it.
Ah, there we go.
And that war never ended. That war just ended like when Trump took office.
Ah, interesting.
Do you remember they did the congressional recognition of the 400 years?
A few years ago, yes, yes.
Do you remember when Pelosi tore the Bible up in the Senate? And
No, I didn't see that.
I'm not seeing the pictures.
Oh,
And
please, please.
Donald J
Was she
had,
drunk? Was she sipping on the yak?
she probably was drunk as a skunk.
You know what
But
I'm saying?
while she was doing that, though, Donald Trump was standing in front of a boarded up church holding the Bible upside down in front of it.
What?
They did it at the same right around the same time
Interesting.
on the same day.
Interesting. Huh.
That's the end of the Bible contract that the missionaries brought.
Is that why
The
Trump didn't
400
put his hand on the Bible when he was,
No,
when he?
he didn't do that because he already been sworn in. He can't
Oh,
swear
he
in
didn't have
twice.
to. Okay, okay, we spoke about that before. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't swear in twice. You already sworn in.
yeah.
Yeah, but that was the end of the biblical contract, which is tied to the discovery doctrine.
Hmm.
Right. Then remember, Seppico put the Pope on notice in the public domain in Canada. And then he went back to the Vatican and repudiated this discovery doctrine.
Interesting.
But in 2014, he sent Obama a letter telling him to dismantle all other Catholic Church U.S. holdings. And specifically the police, the judges, and all of the other imposters and frauds over here masquerading as our government.
Mm.
And when he did that, Obama tried to recontract us back to the Moors. You'll see the picture of him standing in front of the Moors flag, and you listen to the lecture. He talking about something that don't make sense.
Interesting.
It's doublespeak, political doublespeak.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So now, as we go forward in 2025, with the apparent, most likely candidate, Pope Peter, closing up the cycle of the circle, what do you think will become of this Middle Eastern um psyop? Because it's really a psyop. What do you think that's all about? Of the fighting within Syria, Israel taking Syria, Israel taking over Palestine, is what is the goal of that, and how will that affect the Americas?
Okay, well, it's going to create hostility between America and modern Israel
Oh wow. Okay.
because they doing stuff blatantly that they supposed to be doing through covert channels,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's exposing all of the dirt they've been doing the whole time.
Well, yeah. It's show everything's showing now.
Hmm.
The seams are busting out.
So the term is called "the dragon whips his tail,"
Mm,
right? Just because you think you are allied with the dragon, when he turn around and you the last one left, it's just gonna knock you off the board with his tail,
mm.
right? The awakening of the people in the Americas right now is so critical to world peace and restoration of rightful, responsible caretakers of the land.
Yes.
But we don't know how important we is. But if we wasn't important, it wouldn't have took a whole 7, 8, 12 countries to invade us. The only people that helped us during them early days was the Russians.
And Haiti. Remember, Haiti had a big part
Well,
in.
they us.
Yeah, that's
I
the.
said
Well, that's true. That's true.
the only people that helped us.
Oh, that's true. On the outside, yeah, it was
Yeah,
Russia.
they did no African country send no backup
No.
because they was going through it too.
Yeah.
Did no Asian country send no backup because they was going through it too.
Yeah.
We got to remember while they was colonizing us, they was having opium wars in China,
Oh, that's
Japan,
right.
Thailand,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Then they was slaughtering them,
Hmm. Absolutely.
right? We don't remember that part of history though. We don't want to talk about it because I don't got nothing to do with me. I'm from America. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from the Bronx. I'm from LA. But the reality is, if you don't know who was being attacked, you don't even know who your allies could be.
That's true.
Takes us to the Bandung Conference. The Bandung Conference was called by a guy named Sukarno in the Philippines. And the purpose of it was to form a counteroffensive to the white supremacist colonizers. Let that sink in.
Mm.
No European nations was invited. No pale faces was allowed in the building.
Mm.
Because at the time they was under the belief that pale faces was the white supremacists. We ain't know no niggas was behind this stuff
Yeah.
until the elders started doing their research, and then they writing all these books, and they tell you, wait a minute, man, this is not what we being told.
No. At the very top is the Dark Lords, the Dark Black Lords. Those are the ones who were really ruling over the realm.
Well, you seen the Pope kissing their feet. It ain't no
Oh
secret
yeah,
no more.
absolutely.
Cat's
And
out the
people.
bag.
Yeah, absolutely. And also in The Ringmakers of Saturn by Norman Brogram, he talks about that man standing on the ship, a UFO that was nearly 8 feet tall, that was a melanated, Moorish looking being. And there in the UFO community, you never hear them referencing those beings. How come?
They want us to believe that the only melanated people that ever existed was us on Earth.
Hmm.
The
Which is
people,
quite
look,
different.
they got people that's melanated that come from other systems. They
Hmm.
dark as whatever that is behind you,
That's right.
and you see their eyes. If they don't smile, you won't even know they got teeth,
That's right.
right? But they got something else. If they stand in direct sunlight,
The
they
golden.
glisten.
Yeah. And that's we were talking about the gold mining could be linked to melanin that has connected some of that genetic hybriding that could be in certain people.
Well, we used to eat gold. In Atlantis, all we ate was couscous.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And this is why we was able to perform things at a higher consciousness level.
Octane, yes, yes.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that we built on the earth, we built it in the fourth and fifth dimension,
Hmm.
and then it's solidified in the 3D.
Yes.
But that's a whole level of tech that we haven't got back to,
But even,
but
but
we on
even,
our way there.
yeah, but even so, when you go to a lot of these high-end parties, they're eating gold flakes on their plates. They still eat gold. Monatomic gold is another form of, the omis gold,
Ormus, yeah. The
ormus
ormus
gold.
is what we used to call the couscous.
Yes, yes. So it's still being consumed, just not to the degree, and people aren't utilizing it alchemically to use telekinesis like we used to.
Yeah, not only telekinesis, but all of the psychic abilities, including the ability to accelerate your cellular structure to
Ah,
be,
yeah.
and you relax your cellular structure, you can walk through a wall.
Yes. Well, the blinkers, the African blinkers, are linked to those so-called melanated tall beings. They've been denoted even in battles, so-called galactic battles. No one fought them and could fight them because they would blink out of reality, like in
Simeon
dimensions.
Toko.
Yes, yes, yes.
Simeon Toko, he wasn't the only one. He just the only one they found.
Yep,
We come in teams, whether we Earthborn or
that's
whether we
right.
Starfleet.
That's right.
We come in teams.
You
Just
see
like I'm
one,
over
but you
here,
may not see them all. Yeah.
yeah. And just like I'm over here, I'm using social media as the means to inform,
Hmm.
right? But Ibrahim Traore is over there, and he's using a different method, but he's reaching all of the people of the continent,
That's right.
right? Everything that Muammar Gaddafi tried to do, the pressure on Ibrahim Traore is forcing Gaddafi's programs to the forefront.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the worst thing they can do, they think they want to take him out. You'd be better off letting him
They'll
live.
martyr him. They'll martyr him, and they'll lose. That'll be a losing battle.
If yeah, and what we don't understand is it's not just the African continent that's behind him. We behind him too. You got Haitians talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore. You got Jamaicans talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore. Cubans
Right.
talking about hands off Ibrahim Traore.
That's right.
You got people in Brazil, in Guatemala, in Chile, in Mexico. They all saying the same thing. Leave that man alone unless you want the whole melanated world to rebel against
You're
your
gonna have
whole
beef,
structure.
and we already know that melanation. There's only 7% Europeans on the Earth, and we constitute over 90.
But the problem is that in that 90, about probably 20% of them, they the enemy too.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that we want them to be our enemy. They said that we was their enemy, whether we want to be or not.
Well, yeah, it's a long-standing war that we don't even know we're coexisting in.
Right. So what we was trying to recover from was the great debauchery.
Hmm.
Everybody hear Bobby Hemming talk about the great debauchery, the great debauchery. Don't nobody know what it was. It was the genetic waste product that they created that needed a drop of original blood for the ascension rites. That's what the great debauchery was. That's why the caduceus, the symbol of the double helix, is all over the world. Asclepius staff, whatever you want to call it. But that's what it was all about.
Hmm.
And this is why they're going back to the blood test. Nature knows no color line,
It doesn't.
but it know a rotten motherfucker from a good motherfucker though.
Frequency doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Animals and
That's why I
children.
tell people if you introduce me to somebody and I automatically don't like them, please don't bring them back around me.
It's true. It's interesting, right? Like you can feel it
I,
right
yeah,
away.
it's so rare that I automatically dislike a person that when I automatically dislike a person, I pay attention. I used to try to overcome it. I could be his friend. No, motherfucker, we can't be friends.
No, my mother used to tell me that your first impression is the lasting, and what it is at the beginning is a pre. What she call it is in French. It's like a preview of something that will happen that
Mm-hmm.
that you're already experiencing, so you know it exists. That's why you feel it initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot that we have closed our minds to through the agency of colonization.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why one of the most important books in the proper countermeasure protocol is Dr. Neely Fuller, United Independent Compensatory Code Concept for Breaking the Chains of White Supremacy.
Can you when we get off, can you write that down? Just send
I'll
that to
send
me.
you a cover of the book. And
Thank you.
I'll send you the Amazon link so you can order it.
Thank you.
And he
Thank
have
you.
a second edition that deals I think it's like a dictionary.
Okay.
Yeah, but he identified the 9 areas of people activity. I added a 10th, health, because the common denominator to economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. If you ain't got health, you can't do none of that.
Speak it. Health is wealth.
Right. And that's the 10th because it's the common denominator in all names.
Well, it's the one thing that they are purposefully attacking is the health of the humanity right now, perpetually with the food, the chemtrails, the soil, the blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Every which way, people are being incepted with some form of biological poison, and it's purposefully done because no matter how conscious we are, how rah we get, if we ain't feeling well, we can't get up to fight or even talk or even be conscious about a conversation like this the next day.
I know Bobby Kennedy said that they've been feeding us a look-alike food substance.
Oh, replications. Remember, like on a Star Trek, you got the replicator? Like the replicator, like, oh, it tastes like a burger. It may even look like a burger, but it's certainly not a burger. Okay. I don't think we've had food ever since they've, even with the whole concept of Whole Foods, creating a store called Whole Foods, and Monsanto had incepted it. What was this, over like 10 years ago? All foods have been incepted with some sort of glyphosate, which is in all the wheats. And I always tell people the only way you can be certain of food is if you grow it yourself and you create those things for yourself. I am a proponent of putting hands in the soil. That's why you don't see nails on me, because my hand is always in the soil. We create our own substance for our babies, for our grandbabies, for our families. We weren't meant to eat from third parties. How could you ever feel secure eating from the enemy's hands? You know what I mean? That's why they had welfare, because they want you to go to their gross restores. You know what I mean? It's gross and it's a restore. Okay? If that's not telling you what it is, that's it. You go into the store and there's soy and everything. That's why the boys are wearing purses and high heels. You know what I mean? You got, I tell mothers all the time, breast milk is the best milk for your babies. You're seeing worms inside of your formula because listen to the word formula. Why would you ever want to give a baby something that is formalized by in a laboratory by the enemy? Your breast create the perfect alchemical milk that sustains a baby in every which way. If the baby has a cold, the mother will geoengineer alchemically the proper milk to build the antibodies to build the health of the baby. So I
But
would
that's
say,
what a cold is anyway.
absolutely.
A cold is you've encountered a foreign agent that your body has never experienced, and the colostrum your mother didn't warn you about. So now you have to go through the process of analyzing and engineering a biological defense against it in the future. You never catch the same cold twice. They just call them a cold.
That's right.
Ain't got nothing to do with being cold either, because you can catch them in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
This,
all that's trickery.
it is.
It's
It
only
is.
two temperature related illnesses: hypothermia and hyperthermia.
Oh, very good. Yes. Yes.
Freezing to death or heat stroke.
And most viruses are all really, if we speak about it, most viruses are what we perceive to be viruses or diseases or cycle or byproducts of your psychological disease of not being able to alchemically deal with some of the trauma-based programming that you're not acknowledging. And also parasites. There are parasites in everything. Parasites are most likely